Welcome, friends. Welcome to this, our third virtual graduation celebration. I think this is the third one. And so this is a time for Disciple Seminary Foundation to call together our students from our various partner schools, no matter where they are, because our partner schools are so spread out, to come together to try to see as many of us as possible in one place in a Zoom screen like this. All our various boxes here. If you are unmuted, would you please mute yourself? We're getting some background information, feedback.
But honestly, I never played seriously with the guitar. I never had a lesson. Never.
Figure out where that's coming from.
And I play guitar only at the beach, just to meet some girl.
This is coming from our YouTube, so I'm gonna disable the YouTube.
Okay.
So thank you. There we go. We're getting ready to have a concert, which would have been fun, but that's not what we're here for. So here we go. Now, let's see. Again, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the staff of Disciple Seminary Foundation, I welcome all of us here to this space. It's sacred space because we are sacred beings and we are here together. This is our third annual virtual celebration of graduates from some of our partner schools. This year, those who have recently graduated in the schools include Claremont School of Theology, Iliff School of Theology, Pacific School of Religion, and Seattle University School of Ministry and Theology. DSF is committed to the partnerships that we have with these institutions, and we will continue to support students as we can in the future as they seek degree programs from our various partner schools. I don't know if you all have read this or are aware of or could recite it off the top of your head, but this is the mission statement of Disciple Seminary Foundation. It's one that we need to be reminded of often. In covenant with the Christian Church Disciples of Christ and in cooperation with ecumenical and educational partners, Disciple Seminary Foundation serves God through the formation and support of emerging theological leaders for diverse Christian communities. That is the mission statement that the Disciple Seminary Foundation has been living with for a while. Recently, the Board of Trustees has decided to review that mission statement and maybe revise it and so that it's a little shorter so anybody could repeat it at the drop of a hat, make it that elevator speech, in which we will also add some words about our vision and our core values. So we look forward to seeing that. But it is day in and day out, the staff and the Board of Trustees of Disciple Seminary Foundation seeks to live out of this mission statement. Today, we are joined by Reverend Wally Hoeger, who is here to serve as our MC to moderate our time together. A few things I want you to know about our host today. Reverend Hoeger currently serves as the Associate Minister of Children, Youth, and Families at First Congregational Church in Los Angeles. Wally is a graduate, and Wally is what we love to call her, and what she prefers to be referred to, is a graduate of Chapman University and of Claremont School of Theology. And she was ordained in 2020. Wally lives in Long Beach, California, with her wife, Kelly, and their many cats, dogs, and chickens. In October of 2021, Wally and Kelly welcomed to their family the arrival of their daughter, Laurel. We are so pleased to have Wally with us today, and there are many other things I could tell you about her 15 years of serving with youth and supporting youth and young adults, and all of the different boards and whatnot she's worked on. But what I want you to know about Wally is what I know about Wally. She embodies a gentle spirit. And it is a spirit that she brings with her whatever room she enters, even a Zoom room. And from that gentle spirit, we will be led today through our program. And so I welcome the Reverend Wally Hoeger to lead us through our time together. Wally?
Thank you so much for that, Belva. I keep, every time I see her, basically since the ordination, I keep bringing up Belva sung at my ordination, and it was one of the most, just one of the most generous gifts I've ever received. So I continue to be grateful for that. And thinking about our starting our time together, and an invocation, and thinking about where you all must be, and we're all in these different places. And Jan Richardson, who I'm a super fan of all of her work, I'm sure many of you know her blessings that she does. She has so many blessings. There's blessings for, I was looking through all the blessings for today, and there's blessings for those who are about to take a long journey. And I thought, yeah, that definitely applies, and then there was blessings for those who are carrying light through dark times. And I thought, yes, this is that definitely applies to those gathered here. I mean, there were so many blessings that apply to where we are at right now. But I found this one came to the top of my list because I've been thinking about where we are on the way, right? There's the journey that we've walked towards up into this point to get us to where we are now, but it's also, we're taking this step, this pause, as we go on to whatever our next steps are going to be, wherever our journey is going to take us. And so this blessing is based off of Mark 1:2, which says, "See, I am sending my messenger ahead of you who will prepare your way." And thinking about the ways in which God has prepared our path before us, even if we don't necessarily see where this path is taking us. And so I just wanted to share this small blessing before we begin. With every step you take, this blessing rises up to meet you. It has been waiting long ages for you. Look close and you can see the layers of it, how it's been fashioned by those who walked this road before you, how it's been created of nothing but their determination and their dreaming, how it has taken its form from an ancient hope when no way could be seen. Look closer and you will see this blessing is not finished, that you are part of the path it is preparing, that you are how this blessing means to be a voice within the wilderness and a welcome for the way. Amen. And so I would like to invite our graduates, those of which who are joining with us today, to share with us a little bit. It would be really wonderful if you would be willing to share your name, because I make no promises that I'll be able to successfully navigate those tricky waters, but also your degree, if you had like an emphasis, or if you had a PhD, like your work within that. And then a little bit, Sorry, I have like really loud chickens in the backyard. I don't know if that's being picked up on my mic. Anyways, and a little bit about what your next steps might be. So that can be in any way you want to take that. Maybe your next steps in ministry and work, but it also could just be personally, or maybe it's just your next like self-care steps. Like, what are you doing to take care of you as well, or your summer plans? So there's quite a wide range of what you might want to share for that as well. So I have a list, I have an order here, and I'm just going to go through and say, I know we have a couple people joining us by phone, so I'm not sure you might be one of those people on the list. So I'll wait to hear. And if I skip anybody that rejoins us, or if we need to circle back, maybe the graduates who are here can help make sure that I don't miss anybody, because I want to make sure everybody that's here has a chance to share, to speak. So the first that I have, I have CST graduates on my list, and Byeon. I'm not sure. Are you? Hi.
Yes, I'm here. Hi. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, sorry, I'm walking along the path and my connection is not that strong. And yeah, I'm an M.Div graduate of Claremont School of Theology this May of 22. And yeah, I'm going to go to a Ph.D. degree in Graduate Theological Union, Berkeley, California, this coming fall 22. And I really appreciate your strong support of Disciple Seminary Foundation throughout 3 years of my M.Div degree. And I really appreciate every board members and my colleagues in DSF. And it was a great honor to study with all of you, even though I was not good at saying in English, and English was not my first language, but everybody was so kind and generous and endured of my awkwardness and my shortcomings. And I really appreciate the support and embracement. And most of all, diversity in unity, unity in diversity was the great teaching that I learned throughout Disciples Seminary Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I love your background and your walk. It looks like you're walking through this like majestic landscape in the back. It's so green. Where I'm at, things are not as green. Next we have Miseon Choi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Miseon Choi, and I earned my PhD degree from Claremont School of Theology. And my my major is focusing on the practical theology and religious education and spiritual formation. And I learned a lot from our community, and especially from DSF. So yeah, as Geonyul mentioned, even if there if there was no financial support and the spiritual support of our DSF community, I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it this long journey. It's been 7 years for me, so it was incredible to finish up. I couldn't imagine without your support, great support. And so I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for this community and your continuous prayer and support. So, and I'm currently in Lock 11 now for youth summer camp. So unfortunately I can't be here till the end, but I wanted to be here as a part of graduates, and I wanted to say thank you and hi to everyone. So thank you so much for making this a meaningful event for us. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I love that you're at Lock 11. That's so awesome. I'm like, connections. All right. I also have on my list, I'm not sure if Alexis Cruz-Benitez is with us. I don't see them on the participant list, so I just wanted to make sure. But someone I do know that is with us, Tomeka Jacobs.
Hi, everyone. Please bear with me. I'm under the weather, which is why I'm not showing my face, but I am here. So I graduated with my PhD in practical theology, spiritual formation, December 2021. Thank you all. Thank you. But, because they don't have December graduations, my degree wasn't conferred until May. And so I'm very excited about that. Like Miseon, I relied on those DSF checks. And so they got me through, and the support, and I really enjoyed, and I missed when they weren't happening anymore, the gatherings, how we would gather across the street on Foothill and break bread together and laugh together and cut up together. And so miss that. Currently, I'm doing my IFS fellowship. I literally started the day after graduation. So that's internal family systems, working through that therapeutic model and taking that all the way up, and some other endeavors that I'm doing. And you all will be happy to know I'm actually gardening, and so I have my tomato plants popping. And Wally, I've been thinking about getting chickens, but my better half is saying absolutely not. And so that's
They
where I
poop a
am.
lot. I'm just gonna warn you, they poop a lot.
I know,
So
I know
I'll
it's
be
a
ready for
lot,
that.
but like I have this image in my brain and I can't quite get it out. So yeah, that's where I am, and I'm happy to see you all. That's it.
Thank you so much. And yeah, congrats again. Also, we have with us Alex Kipp.
Hey everyone, how's it going? So good to see everyone. It's been a minute. I actually graduated last August, so it's been a while since I've seen a lot of your beautiful faces, but it's good to see you again. Some of you I don't know. Yeah, so I'm working at Oceanside Sanctuary right now. I'm the associate pastor there now, which has been really fun to kind of step into a more, intense leadership role. It's been amazing. I've been there actually since I've been here at school, so it's really been fun to apply everything I've been learning, right away. It's been amazing. And randomly, I've gotten back into acting and commercial work, which has been really, really fun. And I also weirdly feel like seminary kind of helped me connect to some of those more true self desires and natural yearnings for things. And so right when I finished my master's, I felt that call again and have been pursuing it pretty aggressively. And I just feel like a lot of weird doors are opening. So it's been fun to balance both of those, bivocationally. So thank you.
That's awesome. I love that connection. We also have Rogelio Martinez.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. I'm so glad that I finished seminary this year. I was writing my thesis for 2 years when I'm currently a pastor of 2 churches. So I was writing my thesis being a pastor of 2 churches, and COVID hit and everything. So for me, it was like a wow, finally, I did it. I remember speaking to Belva, I think a year and a half, and saying, you know what? I don't think I want to do my thesis. I just want to give up, and that's it. And that conversation helped me to say, no, you did all the work. Why are you going to stop? And we'll support you again as Disciple Seminary Foundation. And I thank God for people like Belva, Jose Morales, who were there since the beginning, Tamara Rodenberg, John Berquist, that they were people in my life that actually helped me. Not only DSF supporting me this master's degree in religion, Master of Arts, they actually supported me on my M.Div before my MA. My M.Div was done through Azusa Pacific University, and this was done through CST. So I'm so blessed to have Disciple Seminary Foundation and all the people in my life and in my ministry. And now we're so close with Disciple Seminary Foundation offices. I'm on the first floor, they're on the second floor of the buildings. So thank you, Choi, and everyone that always welcome me to the disciples. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad to be here. My wife is so glad that I finished. And there's one thing I have for the future that I still have it on prayer, which is continuing to my PhD in New Testament. But that's like a prayer that I want to be there praying for that. And if God's will, which my wife thinks it is, but I still have to pray and say, I'll continue. But thank you for all the support.
Congrats. We also have Taulau Tupua.
Hi, everyone. I just want to echo the sentiments of all my peers here who have said thank you, thank you, thank you. Not only just your financial contributions, but also your prayers. I felt each and every one of your prayers from the moment I stepped on that campus to the time I left. So thank you. My name is Taulau Tupua. I graduated with my M.Div this past May. And something that I am working on currently in the near future is our vacation Bible school, as well as getting together our young adults Bible study. So if you have any suggestions, shoot them my way in our chat, or even after this. I'd love and appreciate anything. So thank you so much for all you do. And yeah.
Yeah, that's legit. Like, I was looking for those VBS suggestions. I hear that 100%. Do we have with us Erin Tyler? Oh, she just shared in the chat that she's currently recovering from COVID and has no voice. Oh no, that is such a bummer. But she writes here that she graduated from CST with the M.Div and lives in Colorado, serving as the children's minister at Heart of the Rockies Christian Church. And she's in discernment on what is next. Hopefully recovering from COVID is next in the immediate. She's grateful for DSF and all the support. Knowing you were here cheering me on and praying for me kept me going. Thank you so much, Erin. There's so many that have been sick recently with COVID. So yes, we're all giving you a little mini silent round of applause here and hoping for a quick recovery as well. I'm not sure if we have Chuck Varner with us or Devin Wright. Just wanted to check. But we do have some folks here from NorCal representing from PSR. Lanie Brandt.
Hi, all. I've been having a little trouble with my Wi-Fi, so if I disappear, I'll try to get back on quickly. My name is Lanie Brandt. I graduated just this May with a Master's of Theological Studies. My emphasis has been, I've focused on interfaith studies with a particular focus on how religions are being woven into our popular culture. And also a particular emphasis on immigration. I have been accepted into the PhD program at Graduate Theological Union to pursue that. And thank you. And I'm hoping to get involved with the Disciples general organization on counsel and Christian unity and interfaith ministries. That's an area of emphasis, of interest of mine, and a place where I think I can enjoy moving forward with the education that I've gotten. I want to thank DSF for helping me make it possible to do this. Immediately right now, I am actually caring for my parents. My father is a retired disciples minister, and he just turned 90. My mom is almost 89. And I just want to give a shout out to the Disciples Pension Fund, which is the pension that laid the golden egg. So if you haven't signed up already, sign up. My parents' kind of livelihood at this age has been made so much more comfortable because of the incredible service of the people at the pension fund. So I am always aware of that blessing as I am trying to make ends meet for my parents and find that without the pension fund, that would have been impossible. And so anyway, it's a long way off for everyone in this Zoom, but I see the benefits to my parents. My dad was a minister for 40 years. My mom was the choir director for about the same amount of time. And her state teachers retirement pension cannot hold a candle to what the pension fund has done for them. So end of commercial for the pension fund. But I have really enjoyed my time at PSR. I enjoyed being in person, but then I also can say that the Zoom and hybrid classes have been equally beneficial, especially during that time when we were also shut down. It was kind of a very human way to connect with people. And I really appreciate it. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you for that very important reminder. I mean, pension isn't something that maybe everybody's thinking of, but it's so important to be, having that in mind now as in this stage as well. I believe we also have Shannon Kitchens with us.
Hi, humans. Yes, I'll start with my love for DSF. I am a diehard DSF fan. I think especially the mentorship. I'm pretty introverted, quiet person. And I remember my first year and a half at DSF, and Katie Valentine, she really mentored me to give me help me with my first sermon because I was petrified. But the funding, I couldn't survive this journey without that, and the mentorship and the gatherings and the real community that is there. So thank you. As far as me and the immediate plans, I came from PSR, got an M.Div. I have been taking naps. I'm starting to plan a wedding, so that's fun and exciting. And then I'm in a big desert right now as far as ministry things, so I don't know what's going to come in the immediate future regarding that. I hope to do a church plant, like a coffee church back home in North Carolina at some point. But, we'll see. I don't know. There's a lot of ebbs and flows with all of this. So great to be here with you all, and really thankful again for DSF and a lot of the humans here, Jess and Belva, who have just been gems along the way. Thank you.
Thank you. And Doug, also thank you. You shared that Chuck Varner said that he thought his prison ministry work probably would not allow him to attend today. He's a chaplain's assistant at the federal prison in Sheridan, Oregon. So very important work for as well. I believe we also have from Iliff, Teresa, Crist joining us.
Hi, I'm Teresa, Crist. I graduated from the joint program between Iliff School of Theology and University of Denver. So they have a joint program together. So I have a doctorate from both institutions, which is kind of fun and awesome. I actually graduated back in August of 21, but the cycle does that nice thing. So it takes a while to gather with everybody together and recognize that this happened. But I did my work, and it's technically a degree in religious and theological studies, but my area of interest was always in decolonization work. And so my dissertation was on decolonizing interfaith work in particular. I did some work with CUIM with DSF, or not with the disciples, that I served with them for 8 years or something like that. And so I finally took some time off. So next people who come through, have fun with CUIM. It's good stuff. I am currently doing some adjuncting work, teaching at a couple different institutions, hoping to eventually find some kind of interesting faculty position for the future. But job searches are very hard, and they're even harder in academia, and they're even harder during weird pandemic-y confusion times when nobody knows what's going on. So, you know, prayers and fortitude for all of that is always welcome. Discerning how that's gonna, you know, connect back up with, you know, disciples in the future, we'll see. Time will tell, I hope, in some useful way. I'm very grateful to DSF for the support. The last couple of years have been a little bit separate because Iliff only joined or got added as a partner while I was in the dissertating phase. So I was remote anyway and far, far away. So living in St. Louis, actually currently traveling, I'm in South Carolina randomly to do this today. So yeah, it's been hard to be so far apart from everybody, but you know, it is what it is. It happens, and we're all close together in some nice spiritual way. So there you go.
Well, I'm so glad that wherever you are, you can still be with us through the amazingness of technology. We also have from Seattle, Juli Prentice. I think she's also feeling under the weather here, so I'll read. She shared in the chat. She says, I'm quite ill with a nasty cough, so I'll spare you listening to that. She received a Master of Divinity from Seattle University School of Theology and Ministry. After 5 years of full-time school, she's going to enjoy a summer of Sabbath. That's right, get it. And the magic of a Pacific Northwest Washington summer. Well, I hope it is good and restful for you. She'll spend lots of times with her growing kids before they go into 5th and 9th grade. Sorry, Laurel's also helping me with this. At Lake Washington Christian Church in Kirkland, Washington, where she serves as an elder and the settled pastor, and she just finished teaching their youth baptism class. They culminated by baptizing 8 youth. That's amazing. Hallelujah, she writes. I'm currently taking a needle felting / doll making class from a shaman in Tasmania? That's right, which is a fun way to use her collective brain and hands after so much heavy academic work. She's also working towards ordination in Northern Lights Christian Church and will be writing her theology of ministry paper at the end of this year. She says that my family and I are so grateful for DSF's support and mentorship. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, thank you so much for joining us, even though you are feeling under the weather. Again, a gift of technology is that we can still be together and not share any germs. But that doesn't give us the voice of being able to use our voice if it's not there. But I also want to introduce our awesome speaker for today, someone who I actually had the honor of going to school with, Reverend Larry J. Morris III, pronouns he, they. He is an apostle, digital marketer, scholar, and spiritual director based in Henderson, Nevada. Ordained in the Christian Church Disciples of Christ, he is the co-founder of Communion Christian Church Disciples of Christ in Henderson. Larry is the owner of Larry J. Morris III LLC, which helps support people and organizations realize their extraordinary purpose. He is completing coursework in the Ph.D. program in African American preaching and sacred rhetoric at Christian Theological Seminary. Also, that's in Indianapolis. And their research interests focus on the intersections of Blackness, queerness, and sacred rhetoric. He earned his Master of Divinity and Master of Theological Studies degrees at Claremont School of Theology with an emphasis on pastoral care and innovative ministries. And he served on the PSWR Regional Board, on the PSWR Regional Minister Search Committee, and National Benevolent Association. Originally from Indianapolis, Larry has spent the last 10 years on the West Coast enjoying the palm trees, beaches, and meeting new people. They are a plant parent, personality type junkie, Apple loyalist, and he's also got some hot takes on Grey's Anatomy. You can ask him about that another time. Without further ado, let me hand it over to Reverend Larry.
Thank you so much, Wally. It is so weird to have like a bio read. I will never get used to that. It's such a weird experience. So, but grace and peace to everyone. It is a joy and a delight to be with you all today. I do want to extend my gratitude to DSF for this invitation and this opportunity to share with you all today. My prayer and my hope is that somehow that God will use something that is said today to affirm you and your call and to confirm God's activity in your life. I pray that the Spirit of God would allow a word or two to resonate with you, with all of us actually, in such a way that we are encouraged to continue on the journey and the work that is ahead of us. And so as soon as I spoke with Reverend Shobi about this day and the time, this celebration, the Spirit of God impressed upon me this text from 2 Kings. Now, I didn't know exactly where the text was, but I had this image of Elijah, this image of and this call to be reminded that there is this divine and communal support for our journey, right? I believe that the Spirit wants to remind us that we are not in this process alone, that God has not abandoned those of us who have graduated from seminary and just dropped us off. And, but God is still present with us. And even if our relationships and our community changes, that there is still community to journey with us along the way. And I know that some folks are already operating in ministry and other people are trying to figure out what is next. Some of us are both. But again, God is with you and God is for you. And there is a community of folks who are with you and for you. Actually, God is with all of us and for all of us. And we are not alone. I want to remind you today that your life and your ministry to your family, to your community, and to this world is important. That you are necessary. That your embodiment and the ways in which you understand the divine and the ways in which you reflect the diversity within the divine are needed. I know that in the midst of the everydayness of life, the cooking and cleaning, the ministry preparation and the ministry, it can be hard to remember. You take that and tack on this spiritual and physical forces that seem to be pressed against us. It's easy to lose sight of the support of God and community. The text in 2 Kings, it's 2 Kings 6:15 through 17, and I'll read it for us. It reads, when an attendant of Elisha rose early in the morning and went out, an army with horses and chariots were all around the city. Elijah's servant said, alas, master, what shall we do? Elisha replied, do not be afraid, for there are more with us than there are with them. Then Elisha prayed, O Lord, please open his eyes that he may see. The text says, so the Lord opened the eyes of the servant, and he saw. The mountain was full of chariots and horses of fire all around Elijah. Elijah and those who served with Elijah knew about this hard time, the struggle, the feeling and knowing and seeing that there are so many folks and forces against their lives and their work. They understood that serving God and serving the community can wear you out, if we're honest, particularly when your life and your community are under attack. Now, yes, there are moments of joy and celebration and ministry in life, like today. Yes, there are moments and times in our lives and our ministries when miracles, signs, wonders, and celebrations abound. There are also times when nothing special is really happening. We're just kind of going with the flow. We're waiting. There's no grand celebration or no particularly interesting things happening. We're just, going about our everyday lives. But there are also moments when there is a war or a great struggle, or some would say pandemics, when we are literally running and fighting for our lives and for the lives of our family members and community. In our text today, Elijah and his community, they find themselves surrounded by a great army, this great struggle with mighty resources. Howard Thurman might say that Elijah's community found themselves with their backs against the wall. Right? They were surprised and outnumbered with nowhere to go and seemingly without support. The text tells us that Elijah's companion says, "What do we do? We have been caught off guard. What do we do?" Now, I don't know about you. I don't know if you've ever been caught off guard, but I believe that we've been paying attention to what's happening in our world today, that we could not have predicted some of the things happening in our community. And even in the midst of celebration, we can be caught off guard with some of the things that's happening in life, some of the things that we see. I'm reminding us today that we are people of faith and we are invited, I might say that we are required to see beyond what is before us. That our faith demands for us, yes, to acknowledge what we see, but not to stop with what we see, but to ask God to show us beyond, right? That we are called to have a prophetic imagination of the ability to see beyond all of the hard things that may be happening in the moment. In the midst of celebration, we can also be honest that there are folks who are trying to come for our lives and they have lots of resources, right? But faith. Even in the midst of celebration, we can be honest that some of us have our backs against the wall, and when that happens, it's nearly impossible not to be afraid. When we truly see what is before us, or even when we are unsure of what is next, fear is an understandable reaction and a likely response. Now, the spiritual director in me wants to name fear and just to sit with fear for a while and to discern what fear may be teaching us. For those of us who are in transition and we're not sure what is next, what might that invitation be? For those of us who are leaving communities and going to another community, particularly for those of us who have been with DSF and we've had this community where there was spiritual support and financial support. Sometimes when we leave and we're in transition, that fear of the unknown can creep up. Again, the spiritual director in me is like, what is that teaching us, right? What can we learn from fear? And also to release it, right? To release this fear, to let it go, not to hold on to it. Even in our text, Elijah acknowledges fear by simply reminding the servant not to fear, right? Not to allow the fear of the unknown or the fear of what you see to keep you from seeing beyond the moment and from moving forward. I will confess today, as a part of my own journey, I have my own wrestlings with fear, right? I remember early on when I heard this call to ministry, I was afraid. Like, I don't want to be a minister, right? I don't want to accept this call to ministry. What even is that? God, how will I survive, right? How will I make a living? God, you want me to go to seminary? Why would you want me to do that? Who's going to pay for seminary? Which seminary will I go to? I had all of these fears, all of these questions, all of these doubts. And I don't know about you, but when I was talking about seminary, I didn't hear too many good things about it, right? People didn't have a lot of good things to say about the seminary experience. But by the grace of God and the supportive community, fear did not keep me from moving forward and from following this call of God. I remember like it was yesterday, actually living in San Diego, but coming to Downey, California to meet up with some friends. And then I met up with them. I also met Dr. Byeon and Reverend Belva. And the short version of the story is I ended up attending Claremont School of Theology and earned my Master of Divinity and Master of Theological Studies degrees there. Again, in that place, God was present with me and faithful to me. God provided a community of folks through University Christian Church in San Diego, California, Disciple Seminary Foundation. I learned about the Forum for Theological Exploration, Bethany Fellows, again, singing the praises of the Pension Fund, particularly their Excellence in Ministry program. All of these resources were available as I took those steps. I'm also grateful to the Pacific Southwest region. Again, this community that God had already in place in many ways for emotional, spiritual, and financial support. A moment in my life when I was reminded that there is divine and communal support for the journey. And even before I could finish my M.Div and my MTS, I began to notice this call or this desire to pursue a Ph.D. Now, listen, I was barely making it. I fell through my M.Div and my MTS. Like, I felt like I needed a break. But I think somewhere along the way, professors and friends and colleagues planted this seed of a PhD. And my ability to actually do the work. So similar to my call to ministry and this call to seminary, the desire to pursue a PhD would not go away. Again, fears and doubts began to arise, and there seemed to be more reasons why I should not do the PhD than reasons why I should pursue the PhD. There were time constraints. I had to take the GRE. In some ways, I was still grieving the loss of my mother. I just felt like I needed some space and some time. But God's support and the support of community allowed me to meet those requirements. And by the grace of God, I was accepted into the only PhD that I wanted to be a part of. And it is the only PhD in African-American preaching, I believe, in the world. And so to be a part of this second cohort is an answered prayer and a reminder of God's presence, God's provision. And I can't speak about God without speaking about community. Some of the same folks who were supportive in my M.Div and MTS were also and have been supportive in my PhD program. Folks like University Christian Church, the Forum for Theological Exploration, family and friends, and even along the journey, I've met some new folks like Christian Theological Seminary and my PhD cohort, the higher education and leadership ministries. They all have offered a wide range of support. I'm just trying to testify, y'all, about my experience with God and community and God's provision. God and community have also allowed me to serve the church in ways that I could not have imagined. In many ways, I thought I would simply just be on the outside of the church and in the community. But God has found a way to allow those worlds to live together. I've had the opportunity to work and to serve with the National Benevolent Association. I'm supporting the work of Innovative Health and Social Service Ministries. I served on the Pacific Southwest Regional Board and on the Pacific Southwest Regional Minister Search Committee. I'm a board member for DSF, a new board member for DSF and Chalice Press. I've sat on a panel at the National Convocation, speaking on issues of faith and justice. I've had plenty of opportunities to preach in congregations that I may have never met had I not been a part of this community, this faith community. I've also led and co-led webinars and workshops on spiritual companionship and social justice. Some of those outside of the disciples community, but there's always a disciple around somewhere. So it's good to see fellow disciples in those other spaces. I recently earned my certificate in spiritual direction, a certificate in homiletic prayer coaching that allows me to continue this work of helping to support the ministries of other people. I don't name all of these things in a way to brag or to boast. It's not about that. But I lift these up as possibilities of what God can do with our lives. We don't allow fear of the unknown or fear of what we see in the physical realm to keep us from moving forward in the journey. I lift these up as a reminder that there is always divine and communal support for the journey. One of the questions that always resonates in my mind, in my head, is who knows what the Lord is up to? We may not know or understand exactly what God is up to, but I believe that God is always up to something. And in the midst of all of this celebration, I will also name that my mother passed away before I could graduate from seminary, and that was a hardship. And before I was ordained into ministry, she was not physically present. I will also name that I set out to plant this church in Nevada, and it's not working the way that I want it to, or the way that I imagine and hope. So I want to provide some balance to this. But even in those moments of grief, right, I've still experienced divine and communal support. Right? So the support of God and the support of community is not just available for us when we're having these moments of great success or moments of celebration. The support is there in moments of grief or in the valley and in the in-between. I've added over the years a therapist and my own spiritual director to my community of support. Now, I know that we are celebrating this milestone of graduation and graduating, but I also know that multiple things can be true at once. That even in the midst of celebration, that there can be fear and doubt, and this reality of folks living with their backs against the wall. But again, I believe that God wants to remind us that there is divine and communal support for our journey. I want to encourage us as what I call professional, well, many people call professional Christians, us ministers, to develop and maintain our sacred time with God. I think one of the greatest temptations and challenges for those of us who work in the academy or in ministry is that we neglect our own spiritual lives. Sometimes we can choose just to engage spiritual things and our spiritual disciplines or even sacred texts for the sake of ministry. But God delights to be with you. God desires to be with you just for the sake of being with you. And so I want to encourage you, encourage myself, even in this moment, to guard that space with the divine. I'm not telling us how to be with God, but I'm encouraging us to be with God just for the sake of being with God. I would say the same is true for community. If we can just be with community for the sake of being with community and not for the sake of getting, resources, that's helpful. But as we care for ourselves, that we resist kind of this urge to just do ministry and just to be ministers that always give, right? We can also just be with community and be with each other. And I know that that's been echoed even in this time today, the importance of, yes, of the financial contributions of DSF. There's also something holy and sacred about just being in community, of sharing stories, right? Of eating with each other, of being on these Zoom calls and seeing the faces of folks that you may not have seen in a while. So finally, as I close, I pray, like Elisha, that the divine will open up your understanding, that you may know that there are more people and resources for you than against you. I pray that you can see these chariots and horses, that you feel the prayers that are being offered on your behalf. I pray that you know that there are communities of people to support you on your journey. I pray that you are able to fully show up authentically in the places in which you are called. And I pray for courage and innovation. I call forth every internal and external resource necessary for your well-being and for your ministry. I hope that my brief testimony is an example of what God can do, and God is able to do more than we can ever imagine or dare to think. Amen and Ashe.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Larry. You said we cannot speak about God without mentioning community. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, and congratulations, DSF graduates. I am Reverend Gabriel Lopez, and I'm a bivocational pastor. I serve a local congregation here in the city of Whittier, California, and I also serve as an area director with Pension Fund of the Christian Church. And that's why I'm here today, to represent the Pension Fund and to speak about them a little bit. For 125 years, Pension Fund has served our members true to our values of integrity, security, and compassion. Pension Fund relies on solid funding formula and an experienced team of investment professionals to manage and grow your retirement income. We measure our success by protecting and adding value to your retirement. We pride ourselves in serving those who serve. As a Claremont School of Theology and DSF alumni, I know what it took for you all to be here. So congratulations to you, and congratulations to your family and friends that supported you throughout this process. All kinds of support and community is important. And as a general ministry of the Disciples of Christ, Pension Fund wants you to know that we will continue to support your retirement goals so that you can focus on what you do best, serving in ministry. For those that qualify, we offer a pension plan, a tax-deferred retirement account, 403b Roth, IRAs, and a benefit accumulation account, which is our version of a savings product. And you heard today a couple of testimonies of what Pension Fund can do in the future for you. But we also offer students in seminary a student gift pension. For those of you that have a student gift pension with us, congratulations on starting off with this great gift. Pension fund deposited $70 each month to your pension plan. You're off to a great start. And please don't forget to reach out to us when you begin to work with a church or an organization to continue reaching your retirement goals. If you are still in seminary, someone who's listening to us on YouTube or on Facebook, if you're still in seminary or a student of CMS, please reach out to me if you still haven't signed up for this great, great gift. The key benefits of the student gift program are, number one, you get up to $3,360 from pension fund into a pension plan account. Number two, you get a great head start on a pension and savings for retirement. Number three, you get a monthly retirement benefit for life. Number four, with this program, you now qualify for death and disability benefits. Number five, you can enroll free of charge in the Your Money Line program, which is a financial tool to help you with your financial questions and goals. And number six, Pension Fund wants you to know that we care about your mental and emotional well-being as well. We do this by offering online support from the Learn to Live program, which gives you immediate 24/7 access to self-paced programs. The student gift program offers all these great benefits at no cost to you. These are the same benefits a pension fund member receives. Please reach out with any questions you may have about pension funds or the no charge products we offer. I will leave my info in the chat for anybody that needs it. And again, congratulations. And I am proud and excited to see you and your ministries grow, flourish, and impact. Gracias y bendiciones.
Good afternoon. My name is LaTanya Bynum, and I am chair of the DSF board and join many of you along that corridor from Chapman to Claremont, and have been a pension fund member since the time I was in seminary. So thank you, pension fund. I'm going to be needing you in a few years, and so look forward to that. Wanted to just share with you a couple of words. One of them is, I don't know what graduation is like now, but when I graduated in the 80s, in 1980, the graduation ceremony was a conversation between the congregation, the faculty, and the students and who were graduating. And at one point, the faculty quotes 2 Corinthians 3, verses 2 and 3 to us. And I don't remember much about that graduation. I remember the opening hymn was Praise to the Lord, the Almighty. I remember walking across the stage to get my degrees. And I remember that the faculty said to us, you are our letters of recommendation written on our hearts to be known and read by all, and to show that you are a letter of Christ prepared by us, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not on tablets of stone, but on tablets of human hearts. And I've always taken that as a kind of a twofold charge from the faculty. The first was, don't go out. We've given you these degrees. Do not go out and embarrass us. Do not make us regret that we have entrusted you with these degrees. And the second thing, and they never said anything of the sort, it's all in my head. And the second thing was, we've done the best we can to prepare you for ministry. Now you go out and do ministry. I always think of those words, and I'm aware that, we live in a time where it's both hard to be the church and easy to be the church. The hard part is that we live in a time of decreasing church membership, and we know that. but not in a time of declining spirituality. People are spiritual. People want to believe in something more than themselves. But they don't often look to the church to help them do that. And I think there's a reason for that. And let me just share this with you, that we live in a time, I think, when too many of the voices that speak publicly for the church are as likely to turn people away from the church as they are to bring people to it. And so I want to encourage you, challenge you a little bit to do what I believe you're already doing, to be that other voice, to be that voice that's mindful and aware of all that we see, and yet continues to be a voice of hope and a voice of joy, to do what Larry admonished us or encouraged us to do. To be that voice of life-giving hope that declares that God loves all of us, that God wishes peace for all of us, that God wishes us to be the advocates for those who would be denied peace and grace, because we know that to deny those things to people is to deny the intention of God. But mainly, I want you to be people of hope, not people of wishing, but people of hope, people who believe that God wants what's best for us, that God has a future for us that we can't always see, but that we trust is there. Nadia Bowles-Weber says, despite our anxiety, our anxieties, which are real, as people of faith, we dare to get our hopes up, to hope in an active way, to hope in a way that will protest when we need to, and proclaim when we need to, and hold people close when we need to show up when we need to. So be people of hope, and be people of prophetic imagination and prophetic voice. Walter Brueggemann says, and you may probably have seen this quote, that there are 3 prophetic tasks of the church. The first is to tell the truth in a society that lives with illusion. What is our reality, and what do we accept, and what do we change? The second is to grieve in a society that practices denial, that there are real things that we need to lament. The loss of community due to a pandemic, the chaos that pandemic has brought us, the rise of white supremacy and the shamelessness of that rise of white supremacy. Those are things worthy of lament. And the third is to express hope in a society that lives in despair, that our task is to bring a word of creative, active possibility to the world. You are our letter of recommendation, written in your hearts and in all of our hearts. And my hope, my prayer for you is that you go out and change your part of the world for the better, because the world needs the gifts that you have. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you all for such words of inspiration and support. I realize we have a couple of people on the screen who we've not introduced. I do want to recognize that we have other board members on the screen in addition to Dr. LaTanya Bynum. Reverend Doug Wirt is there. And yeah, I think that's those are the, yeah, and Lori Tapia was with us earlier, and she needed to get off the call. But thank you all for being here. I see that we have a student who's continuing with us. Ron Crawford is on, and then Nadine Wood. I don't know if you're here in support of others, but we're glad that you're with us as well. So thank you for being here. And then there are a couple of people who are telephone, who are on the phone. Thank you all for being here for this. We've heard lots of really good things, and some things that we, as Larry says, we hope we can take away that will be with us beyond this time. But I want to share with you as part of a invitation to inside of our own spiritual care and spirituality, a poem from one of my favorite poets, John O'Donohue. And even though it's called a morning offering, it's an offering I think that we can be blessed by any time of the day. So I give you this blessing as we prepare to close our time together. I bless the night that nourished my heart to set the ghost of longing free into the flow and figure of dream that went to harvest from the dark, bread for the hunger no one sees. All that is eternal in me welcomes the wonder of this day, the field of brightness it creates, offering time for each thing to arise and illuminate. So I place on the altar of dawn the quiet loyalty of breath, the tent of thought where I shelter, waves of desire I am sure to, and all the beauty drawn to my eye. May my mind come alive today to the invisible geography that invites me to new frontiers, to break the dead shell of yesterdays, to risk being disturbed and changed. May I have the courage to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but to do at last what I came here for and waste my heart on fear no more. May I have the courage today to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but to do at last what I came here for and waste my heart on fear no more.
Thank you for those words, Belva. I will also offer as a benediction a short poem, and I'm going to put it in the chat, but you can just listen to these words as a benediction. It's from a book called Held, Blessings for the Depths, and it's Whole Body Benedictions by Donicia Brown. As we go, let us take these words with us. May you be safe and embodied, for you are deserving of reverence now. May the divinity that delights in you remind you of the gift that you are to yourself. Offerings abound in your completion. May you be reminded of your agency and choice, choosing otherwise portents great mystery unfolding. May earth hold you in the spirit of reciprocity, for your being is sufficient. May all directions reveal the wholeness of your origin story. Honorable ancestors of the East, North, West, and South, smile upon you in awe. You are ancient cosmologies incarnate. May you be nourished by full-bodied truths that orient you in love and deliver you unto intimacy with your whole canon. Thanks be to the infinite creative ingenuity of your being. Let us go forth in the love and care of Christ. Amen.
Amen. You can open your mics and let's just give a clap and a praise for all of those who are graduating, who are celebrating. Congratulations.
Woo! Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Blessings.
Blessings.